Hi, Ben Nott. How you doing? I'm a director of photography, which is just a fancy pants way of saying cameraman. Let's chat about gimbals. One of the great things about technology marching forward is it drags all these great new gizmos into the market, and as filmmakers that's wonderful. The gimbal is just terrific. I mean, the way that the camera can move fluidly, the flexibility this piece of gear offers, the quick build time and quick reposition time just make it a weapon, especially to the low and medium kind of budget filmmaking. My first experience with the gimbal was on Danger Close with director Kriv Stenders. Kriv really was interested in having the camera be part of the action and be in with the actors and see the emotion that the actors were giving, while pyro was going off around them and things like that. And the gimbal just appeared to be the winner over the Steadicam in this instance because, the Steadicam is this sort of one-dimension vehicle, whereas the gimbal could be bolted to a crane, bolted to a cable cam, to a car, etc., etc. So I've got a little behind the scenes video here of some of the stuff shot on Danger Close, and I'll just narrate it. And I guess, the picture equals 1,000 words. So here we go. As I mentioned, we used cable cams a lot on this show, and they gave us this opportunity to traverse through these, this bush environment with this actor running. They were pretty quick to set up. This here is one type of sled that we had. This is the big sled, and this one is controlled by computer-generated or computer control motors. This could raise and lower, so it was sort of traverse sideways and raise and lower. And then this shot here was shot off a really basic sled, there it is there, that was really drawn by rope, physically hand-drawn by rope. Could be set up super quickly, and the production value is obvious. You get these wonderful shots that typically, you'd shoot on a 50-foot Technocrane. Obviously, there's a lot of pyro involved in the show, and it's not great environments to put men and machines in amongst for obvious reasons. So the cable cam became this wonderful tool to use in this instance. And we could, coordinate the explosions going off with the movement of the cable and basically track through this environment. It was amazing. This was our go-to piece of kit on the whole show. This is something called the Rickshaw Rig, and there is the Ronin suspended off a sprung arm on top, which dampens the bumps, and allowed us to do these wonderful tracking shots through the bush that are relatively stable. And the wonderful thing about this type of filmmaking is very liberating. We didn't really have to give the camera or the actors hard stop marks. So whenever this guy here, who's about to come into frame, he settles down to take his shot, we could just stop and frame on him and get this great MCU without really having to coordinate a mark to do it. So yeah, wonderful, flexible, fast, efficient, cheap. With this shot here tracking with the machine gunner, again, we could start wide and we could track on in and shoot the detail. So from the wide shot to the close up to the detail. So you're really not having to cut and put inserts in. So very powerful, very immediate type filmmaking. There's Billy Hama, who was our grip. He's driving an ATV and he's got the sprung arm and the Ronin hanging off it. And this was another sort of go-to tracking device which shot this shot of the armoured personnel carriers bolting through the bush. Again, no hard start marks or stop marks. Billy would just make the shot, working off a monitor, fast and efficient. This is an example of the Ronin bolted to a crane, a camera crane, and then right about this point here, it's taken off by the grips and just track forward handheld. And there's this wonderful effect of having a real production type steady shot at the start, which is very observational, and then it becomes part of the scene. As soon as they grab hold of it, there's a different energy to the frame, and they're able to march on in and get in amongst the action, the drama, I should say. There it is, an example of it just bolted onto a giraffe crane, stock standard, again on a crane, camera crane. We drove the Ronin with this console, the wheels console here, which was wonderful. Really is similar to a very expensive type console, so nice heavy wheels and very precise. And again, that was a little remote station that we worked from, and allowed us to get shots like this. As you can see, it's wonderfully effective, and the frames are very energetic, and we got them super fast and relatively inexpensively. So win, 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 win. There's the gimbal.